it's 12:03, so why don't we go ahead and start this show here. We'll go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance, Dave, if you don't mind. And if you feel so inclined, I'm going to ask you guys to stand with me, and we will honor our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, guys. Okay, so I have Dawn Lee has volunteered to do our prayer today. Dawn, go ahead.
Sure. Bear with me. Lord, we thank you for this beautiful day, and we thank you for each day that you give us. Let us not take this beautiful surroundings for granted, Lord. Guide us in this day. Be with us in our new group of leaders, and as they have fun creating enjoyment and satisfaction and community service and serving one another, Lord. Give us strength together as we share. Be with us this day and be with our loved ones that we are concerned about today. Thank you, Lord, in Christ's name.
Amen. Thank you, Dawn. I also wanted to share a little inspirational piece that coincidentally is also from Don Lee. He and I had a really great conversation about what the future of the club roles can look like. And he offered some expertise and some experiential advice, and he's shaking his head. But 4 good takeaways that I took from that conversation. He said, have mindfulness to the tradition of the club. Take pride in the club. Offer acknowledgement with an applause. And anytime you can honor somebody deserving, do it. So those 4 things are things that I'd like to shape my administration around. I really think he had a handful of other things that were real gems. But those are the 4 that I thought are simple, potential game changers in the mentality of how the club operates. And so I like those. I'm going to read those again. Have mindfulness to tradition. Take pride in the club. Offer acknowledgement with an applause. And anytime you can honor somebody deserving, do it. So I like those. All right, so moving into guests, I see Lauren is with us today. Lauren, welcome. Thanks for coming back. Positive news on Lauren is that she submitted an application today. So I've got that. We're going to go ahead and talk about that at the end of the meeting if we have enough board members that can stick around. I also see Barb. Barb, hello. And Barb also has an application, but not turned in yet. Go ahead.
I have an application. I'm not quite as organized, apparently.
There's no rush, Barb.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Thanks for being with us. Cindy, you haven't been around in a while. Welcome back.
Thank you.
We have our honorary member, Linda Walker, with us today, former Lieutenant Governor. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I don't see any other guests, but it's good to see all of your smiling faces. Okay. Announcements. Does anybody have any upcoming volunteer opportunities? We're pretty well squared away, I think, right now in the immediate couple of weeks. I don't know that there's anything coming up. Earl.
Just since it's the beginning of a kind of a new bi-monthly affair, if anybody would like a food bag, just let myself know, and I'd be glad to, or Roland or John Bruce, and we'll be glad to get you a bag. So the collection will be the 27th of November, which is Thanksgiving weekend. So if you're going to be gone or your friends are going to be gone, let me know, and I'll be glad to collect the food beforehand. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Earl. Chris.
Yeah, just want to say thanks. We had a whopping 11 members on highway cleanup, and we did a very good job. Appreciate that. And there was also, what was just nice to see is a bunch of yellow bags along the highway. Looks like there were a bunch of other groups doing the same thing that day or the day before. So had a really good turnout, and we enjoyed breakfast, burritos, cinnamon rolls, and coffee afterwards. So
Good for you.
we'll look at that here in the spring.
Perfect. Thanks, Chris. And that actually kind of rolls right into my new segment, shout outs. So first and foremost, I wanted to shout out to Earl and his team with the food bag. We did reach our rhinoceros-sized goal of 4,000 pounds or 2 tons. So congratulations to Earl. Roland, I know you play a part in that. Congratulations to you guys. We're going to acknowledge with an applause. Thank you. Second, Chris, you were right on there too with the successful road cleanup. As you said, we did have 11 volunteers. I dragged my teenage daughter out there and she was roaming the street trying to clean garbage as well. So huge shout out to you. Thanks for breakfast afterwards. Yay. That was great. And then thirdly, I wanted to have a shout out for our past president, now Rachel, who's not here, but hosting a fantastic induction dinner. Food was good, company was better. It was just a lot of fun, really kind of chatting with people in person again. It was fantastic. Fist bumps and handshakes, and I even saw a couple of hugs, I think. So that was refreshing and nice. And that was very, very well. So thank you to Rachel, who's not here today, but the installation dinner went off without a hitch. Any other announcements for the better part of the club? Oh, there's a picture. All right. Thanks, Dave. Very good. Very good. Thank you for sharing those. John, go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick, I'm going to be sending your Happy Dollar bills due here probably hopefully by the end of the day. So those of you who have submitted Happy Dollars through our Zoom meetings, I tally that and then send you a statement. I'll also show you an annual statement, just how happy you were for the entire year. And my challenge is to see if we can beat it in the next fiscal year. So.
Yeah, that's a good point. We're going to talk today. I'm our guest speaker. I'm going to kind of discuss with you guys my goals for the administrative year. And that's going to be a common theme. You know, I think Rachel set the bar pretty high. She really was a fantastic president, really did a lot of good things. And we're going to talk about, I'll get there, but the goals that I'm setting forth with, without trying to, I don't know, I want to set the bar a little higher, right? I mean, we're not progressing if we're not moving forward and doing those things in the right manner. So she set the bar to a point, and then I want to kind of ratchet it up a notch, and we'll talk about the details as we go. But before we go there, I want to do happy dollars. So I'm going to read you our definition of a happy dollar, and then we'll talk about those here in a moment. And I'll start with the first happy dollars. So our group believes that there's enough negativity in the world. We'd rather focus on the positive. If you would like to share something you're happy for, or several somethings, please share with the group for a donation of $1 apiece. John, as he mentioned, will be sending out monthly invoices. You can also go to our website and pay through PayPal. If you don't want to have a running tab, you can just pay attention to what you say and then go pay for it the same day. I'll go ahead and start. I wanted to give 3 happy dollars. I kind of already said them in the shout outs, but one happy dollar for the fantastic effort of raising that 4,000 pounds of food. That is a huge milestone for us, and I think we'll do better next time. Another happy dollar for a very fantastic road cleanup. We cleaned a lot of junk off the sides of the street, the highway, and it definitely beautifies people. I mean, there's thousands of cars that drive through there every day. So it's really nice to see. And then my third happy dollar was for a successful installment dinner. It was a lot of fun, and looking forward to a new administrative year. Okay, who else is happy? Chris.
We got 6 happy dollars for this giant snake behind me. It kind of cut off our heads here, but my son turned 6 last week. So we had a long overdue, about a year overdue birthday party for him with the snake man from Reptile Zone. He gave a great, wonderful presentation. I would highly encourage anybody that ever wants to do that to spend the money to do that, because he talked about how we care for animals, how we care for pets. And there was just a lot of fun had. I think he had 10 kids. It was all outside and it was a blast. And we got an awesome family picture with everybody in there and a giant python around our necks. So that made me really happy.
That's very
And my son more happy.
And the $6 happy dollars are because he turned 6, right? Yeah. Okay. I forgot a 4th happy dollar for myself. My San Francisco Giants won the National League West for the first time since I think 14 or 12, or it's been a long time. So yay, go us. Anybody else? Did I see, Amber, your hand go up for a quick moment?
Hi, everyone. Okay, so I'm going to do 10 happy dollars, and I'm going to do 2 for 5 each. One is Friday night. We served Jericho Table, John Bruce, Linda Walker, and Barb Lutz. And I just want to say that it was a good time. It was the first time that I got to spend some time with Barb and got to know her, and just really seemed to be someone obviously that would fit in good with our group. And it was nice having some time really getting to know her kind of separate. And then my second one is kind of follow Josh, but my Red Sox knocked the Yankees out last night at home. So that was a great game. Super excited to move on. Not excited to be playing Tampa Bay, but at least we didn't lose to the Yankees at home.
That was a good game. Who else is happy? Earl, I see your hand.
John Duff, we're going to be well on our way to meeting it, our goal. This is $100. We have 100 happy dollars because I found this as we cleaned up the highway Saturday. So we'll put it into happy dollars.
Are you kidding?
No.
Oh,
You found a $100 bill?
So pay attention when you clean up. You just never know.
See?
wow.
Holy smokes,
And,
that's
It
awesome.
goes to
Whoa.
for the Spartans for winning 5 straight games. And as soon as I get done here, I'll be happy to go to the hospital and get my booster shot.
$100 is the record, I think, because I know that there's been $10 bills found and even a $20 bill once time ago, but a $100 bill is a record for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't know highway cleanup was a fundraiser.
It is now. It is now. I'm going to move that to my fundraising list, John. Well, congratulations, Earl, and thank you for that. Roland, go ahead.
Yeah, a couple happy dollars. This coming Monday, that's next week, Monday, Gail and I are heading to the Oregon coast, the Glen Eden Beach area for a week. Well, I'll miss next week's meeting unless I catch it on my phone or something. And then on our way home on the following Monday, I've arranged for a wine tasting at Willamette Valley Vineyards, and Gail's siblings will join us there. So looking forward to those 2 events.
That's great, Roland. I hope you have a safe trip. Ann, I don't know if you can hear us, but you're not muted.
Okay. Well, I just gotten home, so.
Okay, that's all right. No worries. Hannah, I saw your hand. Go ahead.
Yes, I have a happy $5 today. And Truman and I really love the pictures that Nicole Gee took of us. I won that in the silent auction. And we went out in the lovely scenery at Eagle Crest, and she took our portraits, several of them, and they turned out wonderful.
I'm glad you're happy. Yay.
That's awesome.
I love them. You guys are so cute.
Ann, go ahead.
So I have a happy dollar. I've got invited into a coffee clatter, basically a weekly coffee meeting of a bunch of women locally, and went the first time last week. And I ended up talking about Kiwanis a lot. And one of the women has pursued me. Her name is Lynn. I forget her last name right now. And she's going to fill out an application. She said she didn't like attending Zoom meetings. But as soon as we get back to Juniper, I think I found a new member. So that's $1.
Awesome. Thanks, Ann. John Bruce.
Yes. Last week, my brother came from Colorado, he and his wife, We hadn't seen each other for 5 years. We had great weather, did something fun every day. So I'll throw in $5 just for every day that we were together. It's great.
Awesome. Thank you. Dan, I did see your hand. Go ahead.
$5 happy dollars. I'll think I'll cover it in the process. First of all, how about them Giants? The most wins ever in recorded history, 107, which was amazing. They were given no chance to do that to start with. How about them Beavs? Yep. They came back, didn't play their best game, but at the end they sucked it up. A moment of silence for the Ducks that didn't. Also, going to get to go to my 50th year reunion at Oregon State at the homecoming game with Utah. And there's going to be a gathering ahead of time. And I hope to see a number of my Oregon State golf teammates at that reunion. That covers it.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan. Okay. Anybody else happy before we move on? Okay. We're going to close that out. So now the joke of the day. I'm going to keep that tradition because I think it's fun.
I think John Duff had something.
Oh, John did? I didn't see your hand, John, but go ahead.
This is a difficult one. It's not a happy dollar. It's just we lost someone close to us this last weekend. It was very tragic. And mental health illness is incredibly important. And I just ask that you who know people and young people who might be suffering from depression or other nature or other causes of that, just get in touch with them, check in on them, and please reach out to them and make sure they're okay.
So true. Thank you.
Looking back, do you have any tools to make that happen effectively? I mean, we all know someone, and we all flounder with how we reach them. What's the best? Do you have any ideas from that, John, as you look in retrospect, or Michelle?
Only thing I can say is there's several organizations close within Central Oregon that help with mental health. But sometimes just a phone call or a text from someone like us might make the difference. You never know. When someone is low, they're low, and you never know when that right timing, checking in weekly or monthly might make the difference. So that's all I got. There's no perfect way to help it or fix it, but just reach out to those people that you love and know that might be suffering from this.
Well, it's tough to follow that with a joke, John.
I'm sorry, Josh. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So I'm going to save the joke for the end. What we'll do is we'll just kind of dive in. Basically like I said, Rachel set the bar pretty high. She did a really good job kind of laying out what her administrative year was going to look like and set certain goals for us as a club to try to achieve. And I'll start, actually, let me pull her email back up. I'm going to start by just kind of telling you where we ended last year with what her goals looked like. So hang tight here. I didn't have this quite ready. Okay, so her first goal was for membership. Her goal was 8 new members, and we ended with 9 new members. So we did beat that goal. So round of applause. Yay, that was a good one. Her second goal was a financial goal of 2 fundraisers. We achieved that. We met that, right? 2 goals, 2 fundraisers. That was Seas Candy and Rocktoberfest. So once again, successful goal. Yay. Number 3, we don't have a total just yet, or she didn't have a total just yet when she sent this to me, but service hours. Her goal for the year was 2,280 service hours, which is 190 a month. Before Oktoberfest, we were at 1,705, meaning we were 575 hours short. Once the Oktoberfest numbers have been reported, we're going to be very, very close, if not exceeding that goal. So that's fantastic. And I don't know if Noah's gotten back to anybody with those numbers, or Carl, if you happen to know. The next goal was interclubs. We had a total of 5 interclubs, which is fantastic. Her goal was 2 visits per club within our division. So we got real close. And part of that is just with the pandemic, it's really hard to do interclubs. Some clubs aren't meeting at all. Others are meeting at different times and things have changed. And so we did the best we could with what we've got. Roland was spearheading that and did a phenomenal job. So thank you to Roland for that. That was excellent. Her 5th goal was something we did not achieve, which she classified as public relations. But the idea there is not to step on Carl or Anne, who does our Facebook's pages, or Carl's publication, but she wanted to set some sort of communications chairperson who maybe more actively monitors all social media, is more inclined to attend events and take larger amounts of pictures and post and do those kind of things, and set up maybe systematic posting and those kind of things, just promoting the club. That was one thing that she set that goal, and then nothing really came of it. And that's not for lack of trying, it was just the way it worked. So those are kind of the 5 goals that she had set, and whether or not we achieved them. So I thought she did a really, really good job. And us as a club did a really, really good job. I'm going to more or less read my list here, because I think the way I put it on paper was much better than trying to just say it out loud. So basically, here we go. Rachel set the bar pretty high with her lofty goals, and while most of them were attainable and achieved, I'd like to take them up a notch. When I told her she laid pretty solid groundwork that I didn't plan to change, she did remind me that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So that said, I'm setting 5 similar goals to Rachel across 5 different categories. So number 1, membership. Historically, our club's goal for new members has been set at 6. Last year, we managed to achieve 9 new members after setting a goal of 8. This year, with the loss of a few members for various reasons, I've decided to set our club's goal at 12, which is exactly 1 new member per month. With the help of my president-elect, I know this is a very attainable number to shoot for. While ambitious, Chris and I both feel this is possible and will only help the longevity of future growth of our club, not only in physical numbers, but in the growing community we serve. Number 2, financial fundraisers. Last year, we were successful in completing 2 amazing fundraisers, both Seas Candy and our annual Rocktoberfest at Wild Ride Brewing. This year, I'm hoping to not only repeat the success of those 2 events, but also add another pair, the Vintners Dinner and Golf for Kids Tournament. With the help of those committees, I'm sure that we can put them together in time to raise a record number of funds as a club. Being a numbers guy, the success of fundraisers means a lot to me. We talked about this real briefly, but last year, Rachel set a goal of creating a communications chairperson who would manage social media across several platforms. We do currently have a YouTube page, a Facebook page, and our website. Posting current events, upcoming gatherings, meeting invitations, and post-event success photos are all things that we can come together to post on a regular basis. We can also and might consider branching out and using Instagram, TikTok, and even Twitter. Building a following on each of these platforms will not only solidify our presence in our community, but can help build a fan-based following, a volunteer network, and can help grow membership. Number 4 is service hours. Service hours continue to be challenging during COVID. Once we get the final numbers on Rocktoberfest, we are hoping to have met or exceeded Rachel's goal of 2280 service hours. I'm hopeful that restrictions will start to ease and that we will once again be able to get out and serve our community. With that in mind, my goal here would be 200 service hours per month, totaling 2,400 service hours this year. While once again ambitious, this is an attainable goal if everyone reports their hours to Carl and is willing to help whenever opportunities arise. Road cleanup, Jericho table, and flag duty are 3 great examples of how to serve our community. Number 5, Roland did an amazing job this last year organizing interclubs as best as he could. His proactive asking and reaching out to other clubs did allow us an opportunity to complete 5 successful meetings. My goal for this is to average 1 every 2 months or 6 during the next administrative year. I'm hoping Roland will continue in this role as he has begun building relationships with the other clubs in our division. I also have a bonus goal. Get back to live meetings. I've been hearing it from most of you. Almost everybody on this call has expressed that in one way or another. I completely understand that each and every one of us is having different feelings when someone mentions live meetings. I'd like to do whatever we can to resume our lunches at Juniper as safely and as soon as possible. Case counts have been falling around the state, and I truly believe that we can likely get back in person very, very soon. Our induction dinner last week was great, and it was refreshing to shake hands and fist bump again. Wearing masks while not eating and drinking, offering hand sanitizer at the door, pre-ordering food, and social distancing when needed are likely the keys to making this happen. I'd love feedback on this topic from each and every one of you, so please send me an email and state your case for or against. This will be a topic of major discussion at our next board meeting. As far as my president's project, I haven't narrowed it down yet. I'll be announcing that in the future, probably by the board meeting time, and then I'll kind of announce that to the club, most likely that following Wednesday. But I have a couple of really great ones in mind, and so I'm just trying to decide which one's the best fit for me and the club and where we're at right now. But in closing, I'm looking forward to this upcoming year and feel honored to be part of such a special group of people. As I mentioned in the newsletter, I want to make sure everyone has an opportunity to voice concerns and give feedback when and where they see fit. Constructive criticism is the best way to get better at everything. So thank you again for the opportunity, not only to lead our esteemed club, but to serve our amazing community. I am excited and looking forward to this. I think we've got such a fantastic club that, you know, I'd probably have to try pretty hard to fail at this. You guys have just done such a great job setting the club up and getting things where they need to be. And so just carrying the torch and moving forward, I'm really looking forward to it. You know, to kind of circle back to those 4 inspirational pieces that Dawn gave me, having mindfulness to tradition is something that means a lot to the club. This is a long-standing club. We're not new. You know, we've had members. Carl, who's the longest member and how long have they been?
John Hodecker joined in 1974, and
Yeah.
I followed him in 1975.
I knew you were up there, but yeah, I mean, these are folks that have been club members for nearly 50 years. I mean, that's incredible. So the legacy that you guys have laid down before us is really important to hold with high regard. Taking pride in the club. Who on the call has a Kiwanis pin, the little lapel pin or the little, yeah, I have one. There's a small handful of us, right? I mean, most of us don't have them. So we're going to do what we can to find those pins, make sure everybody has one. We want to show pride in the club. That was the second one there. Take pride in the club. So tell people you're part of the Kiwanis Club, you know, share that. And when you have coffee with your friends, thank you for sharing all that you did about the Kiwanis Club. I love that. I think that's, you know, that should be a part of our conversation. If we're truly prideful that we're here for a reason. And so I think that's important to kind of share that legacy of the club. You know, one thing that I would encourage you all to do, and if I had more time before the meeting, Dave, I would ask you to cue this up, but go to our website and watch our historical video. That goes back and gives us the history of the Kiwanis Club of Redmond. It talks about all the projects, the major projects that we've done over the years. And we have really done a lot in this community. And most people really appreciate us but don't always know what we do. So I think it's important to share those things and share that video. Offer acknowledgement with an applause. I think in today's digital world, it's so easy to just say, hey, you know, Chris, great job, high five, you know, and that's it, we move on. If we were live and in person, you know, I think we should applaud every time that there's a successful event that took place, or every time someone spearheads something. And, you know, I think just clapping and showing the appreciation for that person is so important. And Yeah, I think it's kind of a good thing because it encourages you to want to do a good job again the next time when you're recognized, right? And then anytime you can honor somebody deserving, do it. I think that's a given. It goes hand in hand with acknowledging, but there are so many good things this club does. And, again, we'll quickly touch on it, but we don't really celebrate those successes. And I think that we really need to. So more than just a pat on the back, I think that round of applause every time is fantastic. And I appreciate the opportunity again to kind of move the club forward in a positive way. And I'm looking forward to it. And so with that, that's all I have. I will go back to my joke, which isn't all that funny anyway, but I have it for you guys. So here it is. We all know that 6 was scared of 7 because 7 ate 9. But did you know that 4 witnessed everything, but he was too squared to say anything? Yeah, I know. It's not a Josh original, but you're welcome anyway. Anything else before we dismiss? It was a short one today. Roland.
But a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was good. Well, a number of things come to mind. And first of all, Josh, I personally appreciate your plans, your goals, very well thought out. Rachel did an incredible job. And I think it's well done to think about maintaining or even bettering that, like you mentioned. And I think everything you've outlined, we can do if we put our minds to it.
Yeah.
One particular tidbit I'll add, and Carl, maybe you can help me out here. When we post volunteer hours, we got some new members, and it will help the reporting process if we know what qualifies as volunteer hours. So what comes to my mind, and help me out here, Carl, is things with the club, because we're a nonprofit, it's a community activity, but you can count things that are not done within Kiwanis. Like if you're other nonprofits and community organizations like your church, another club, jump in here, Carl. What else qualifies as a volunteer hour?
Well, I count most anything that is associated with any nonprofit organization. I guess where I do draw the line is on administrative things, especially for our club. But if it's service of any kind, I look for the rationale to include it.
Carl, this is Dan. Just a thought. You and I went down and helped Kay Keen just take some trimmings away that you had done for her. Things of that nature, I would say, would also be service related. If you're helping, in this case, it was somewhat Kiwanis related. It was a good neighbor thing, but I also think those are important. And she really was thankful for what all the Kiwanians that reached out to her when Dick passed away.
So, yes. So, as I say, I look for the rationale to include, not to reject.
Right.
I would add, it very much doesn't have to be for another nonprofit. I mean, I put in almost 200 hours at the vaccination clinic for the county, and Carl counted those hours. So,
yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I would suggest any volunteer of your time, right? I mean, any donation of your time, if it's, it's Carl's job to audit that, right? I mean, if it doesn't work, you'll not count those hours.
So I want to offer something I learned talking to these ladies at the coffee get together. Most of them had never heard of Kiwanis. And when I started to explain what we do, they kind of said, oh, that's one of those religious organizations. I think Kiwanis has, people think that it's religious based, and I disabuse them of that. But I wonder if there's in some way we can emphasize the more secular is maybe the word, nature of what the club does.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thought because I can understand both sides of it, right? Okay, thank you, Ann. I appreciate that.
Josh, the one thing that you kind of didn't bring out, and yet I know the club does it within a degree, but I think that we could work on it, is member retention.
Yeah. Chris and I have had some conversations about that. I didn't talk about it here, but I think one thing that he would like to incorporate, so I might throw this towards him to answer, but we were talking about doing some sort of entry and exit interview with members that are new and members that are not renewing and are going away. And so kind of taking a few minutes and just visiting with them, what's attracting you to Kiwanis? Why, what is it that's bringing you in? What do you expect to get out of this, et cetera, et cetera. But then on the way out, same thing, why aren't you renewing? What didn't we do for you that you would have liked to have seen different and better and things like that? So we're going to try to develop that, I think, together, but I would like Chris to kind of run with that. And, if he wants to add here, that's fine. But we've had some conversations around that, and retention is just as important really as growth.
Yeah, and what I'll add to that, Linda, that's spot on. Last night, Roger Bell was leading a call that I was on about membership, and specifically said, hey, make sure you talk to your new members. What do you want to see? Make sure you talk to your outgoing members and say, what did you not see that you may have caused? And if they're just happy to move away, make that introduction to the local Kiwanis Club, because that's an immediate group of friends that you can establish. And if we all have that same mindset, it can really help just the greater club. So well said, Linda. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for asking, Linda. That's a great point. Dawn, go ahead.
But something that goes along with that is, you have talked about the recognition of people. A lot of people either don't attend the Zoom or they don't attend the meetings, and yet they're doing things. And I think we need to be able to get that word out that people that maybe we don't see a lot at meetings or such, that they're also doing things, and we need to make sure that we're letting the other members of the club recognize that.
Yeah, that's a very valid point. Maybe Carl, you and I can talk about this a little bit offline, but maybe if you're comfortable with it, you don't have to share the actual numbers, but maybe whenever there's hours reported for volunteer time, you can kind of let me know who's doing what, and we can give public recognition on these calls or in person. So, Dan Tippy doing Jericho Table, he's not here, and I know he's spearheading that every time. So, he needs to get those kudos whether he's here or not.
Agreed.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. But Dawn, go ahead.
When we talk about fundraising, one of the things that I think is significant to our club is Seas Candy activity. And I saw Anna at an economic development function here this last week wearing a big placard on her chest that says Kiwanis Seas Candy, and was meandering through the crowd, often 100 people plus, whatever. And she was meandering around with that and watching people ask her, what's this all about? So it was fun to see that. So there's at least, I would include at least 3 fundraising goals in yours, to include the Seas Candy, not to be forgotten.
Yeah, and I'm sorry if I may have, because I was kind of reading this, but also just sort of speaking it. So I didn't mean that we were replacing Seas Candy. We're certainly going to keep that. We're going to keep Rocktoberfest and Seas Candy, but then I'd like to add the Vintners Dinner back, as well as the golf tournament. All things what they are, assuming we can do both of those.
Got it.
But yes, Seas Candy is vital, and we're known for that, and we can't not do that. Even if it's break even, I feel like at this point, it is such a recognizable fundraiser that gets our name out there. It makes sense.
But it does take an enormous club commitment. time-wise, and works really hard on that.
No, 100%. You're right. Thanks, Don. Okay. Any other thoughts, questions, concerns, ideas? I really do have an open door policy, so please reach out. Let me know what you're thinking and how things are going. If you see something you don't like, let me know. We'll fix it. If you see something that we can do better, let me know. We can fix it. Don, go ahead.
One thought I have is keeping track of our members and those parties, and I'm thinking, of course, of Kane and his loss, and I love the story of helping neighbors or friends, whatever, great people. But I'd like to keep track of that. And Linda Anderson too was active in the club, and I don't know where she disappeared. But there's others that are in the club that I would love to hear an update from those who have contact with those. That have been active in the club, tremendously supportive in the club, and that are, in my mind, a part of the club and heritage of the club.
Yeah.
I guess I think of that as we get older, or as I get older. No, I don't get older, but as others do.
We do.
Thanks, Don. Well, I hope some of these goals, being maybe a little more ambitious than they have been historically, don't scare you away, Lauren, or Barbara, or Zia, even, as our probably newest member. We want to continue to offer our commitment to the community and our support to the community in a lot of different ways. And so, it might take some fresh blood to kind of see it through a new lens, right? And we don't want to change the way things have gone historically, but at the same time, getting a fresh perspective is helpful. And so thank you guys for your willingness to be here today. Amber, go ahead.
I was just going to say, yesterday in the mail, I got a handwritten card thanking me for sponsorship for the Golfer Scholars. And it said in there how much was raised for the to be able to go towards scholarships. And I would be willing to, if there was a list, to write thank you notes to the Rocktoberfest sponsors once we have an amount, and to be able to tell them, thank you for supporting us. We appreciate it. We raise this much money, which will go back into the community to help youth organizations. So just something to throw out there.
Yeah, thank you, Amber.
Amber, I think Michelle Duff is working on that. You might want to contact her.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. Michelle had her little thumb up thing in the corner there, but yeah, she's definitely working on that, and would love some help, I'm sure. Dave, go ahead.
Okay, getting back to what Ann was talking about those ladies thinking we were a religious organization. On our Redmond Kiwanis goals, the last bullet point says, Kiwanis clubs shall not discriminate based upon race, color, creed, national origin, so on and so on. Can we substitute the words religious affiliation instead of creed? Because maybe some people don't understand what creed is.
What are your guys' thoughts? Is that taken directly off Kiwanis International? Is that their wording?
That's what's on our website.
I think it's something that you do want to clear with Pacific Northwest District or Kiwanis International or something, if that's a moniker that we use. And if it's
Don, it's really hard to hear you.
Oh, it is. Oh, well, I can speak up. Is that okay?
You're good, Don. Go ahead.
But just the idea of Kiwanis International, if that's a moniker of Kiwanis International, we may want to look at that, or at least inquire for that. Either not include it at all, or make it as an approved statement. There are some responsibilities that we have to international, and representing the Kiwanis logo and the Kiwanis Club does carry with it some responsibilities.
Well, and hey, this is Barb Lutz, and I'll just go on record as saying I would not have associated Kiwanis with a religious organization. So the fact that some people do is interesting, but it never crossed my mind that it was. To me, it's a service organization. So But those are important issues, of course, to address.
Yeah, thank you. You're right. I mean, we are a service organization first and foremost. And so if we need to put further clarity somewhere on the website, but I agree with Dawn, I think we need to go through the correct channels and probably check with Kiwanis International if they're the ones laying the guidelines out for each individual club. We want to make sure that we're doing it through the right path. I don't know that answers your question, Dave, but we can look into that a little deeper. Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts or questions or concerns or ideas? Okay. Well, if not, we will adjourn for today. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate all of you and look forward to serving with you for the next year. So, oh, Earl, yes. Oh, you're leaving.
Hey, just wave it. Just wave it.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, farewell.
Okay.
Thank you all. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.